Hi everybody, this is Jen from Cookies, Cupcakes, and Cardio.com. Today we're going to be making a cake from one of my favorite fairy tale movies, Cinderella. We're going to be putting a pillow on the bottom and Cinderella's glass slipper is sitting on the top and it's made out of chocolate. So let's get started on our tutorial. What we're going to be using is 2 layers of 12-inch square cakes, and they're stacked and they have buttercream in between. We're going to be cutting this. Now I'm going to be using this royal purple buttercream, and I just used a Maricolor gel paste in royal purple to get this color. Then I also have some white buttercream and white melting chocolate. These little white kind of round sprinkles or chocolate here you could use. We've got little pearlized dragees, clear piping gel, clear sanding sugar, a little bit of gum paste, some pearl, just the dusting powder, and some sparkle gel. So I have my cake here ready to be carved. Now, what I did for this one was I left the dome that happens when the cake cooks. Instead of trimming it off like I normally would to flatten it, I left it because we want that look to come with the pillow, so it just saves you a little bit of buttercream work. So I've got here my toothpicks marked in 4 spots. Now they're in the center of each of the sides, in between the 2 lengths, and then they're about 1 inch in as well, because this is going to be where the pillow comes in. So using a serrated knife, I'm just going to cut down and then cut like a little notch out here, because that's going to be my guide. And then I'm going to line up from my toothpick to the edge of the cake here and just cut straight down. And I'm going to do this the whole way around the cake. So I'll line my thing up here and then cut down here like this, and I'll do that to each toothpick. So I have the general shape to the cake carved now. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to shave off the edges of the top here and then underneath as well, just to give it a little bit more of a rounded, gentler slope to these edges. So I'm just taking my serrated knife and I'm just going to work at it slowly. So you want to make sure that you do small cuts so that you don't have big chunks that remove. Depending on what kind of cake you're using, you might find it difficult to cut, so just make sure that your cake is nice and cold, or even frozen I find works best when you are carving it. So I'm just working it slowly like this, and then moving down to the bottom, I'm just going to try to cut into the sides here and just take a bit chunk out of here just to give it a look that as if it's off of the board, like that, and then just carve away the sides on the bottom there too, just to give it a gentle slope. So I'm going to repeat that all the way around the sides. I've got the pillow carved now, so now I'm going to take my purple buttercream and I'm going to cover the entire cake with the buttercream. Just get some on top, it makes it a little bit easier. And then using my cake spatula, I'm just going to spread it all over the entire cake. So my pillow is covered with the buttercream now. Now here and here I have pieces of a patchworking quilt set. If you can't find one of these, you don't have to use one. You can just use like a knife, or you could even use a roller in order to etch in these patterns. But what you do with the patchwork quilt piece, you just press it into the buttercream here. You can also use it for fondant, and then just pull it up and you'll have like a little embossed piece there. And then you just go around and then just put them all together. So I'm going to do this all over the cake. And then in the pieces here where the little diamonds meet, I'm just going to put one of the pearl dragees. It's just going to give it a little bit more of an effect to mark each part of the pillow. So we're going to move on now to the side of the pillow here, and I've got a Wilton number 18 star tip in, and I'm just going to be doing a rope border to imitate what you might see on the side of an actual pillow. So we just kind of go like this and then bring it up and back up to a little bit of a kind of like an S shape, might be a little bit backwards than an S, and I'm just going to go around like this around the whole entire cake. So I've done the border around the edge of the pillow. Now I have a Wilton 235 tip here, and I'm just going to start at the base here. I'm going to squeeze and pull it up, and it's going to create the look for the tassels. And just attach it at the side, and then repeat for as many tassels as you want here on each of the different parts, the different corners of the cake. I'm going to take my round candies now and place it at the top where the tassels are, and then using just some tweezers that I use just for cake decorating, I'm going to place some more of these dragees around the white ball here, and they'll run away on you. To make the glass slipper that we're going to put on the top, we're going to make it out of chocolate. Now this is a chocolate or silicone mold, and I'll put a link to where you can get this off of Amazon in the description box below. Each of these halves of the shoe are going to use 1 cup of melted chocolate. You just take your melted chocolate, pour it into the mold like this. Make sure that it comes out level, and then you can spread it around. And if there's extra on top, it doesn't matter because it will just come off when you pop out the shoe. So you can just make it kind of like this and then fill up the other one as well. And then when you're going to set it to harden, you can speed up that process by putting it into the fridge if you want it to go a little bit quicker, or you can just sit and wait for it to harden. So I'm going to do that, and I've got a couple prepared to show you what to do next. Once the chocolate has solidified, it will pop right out of the mold, and I have here the 2 halves and a completed shoe here, but in order to get to the completed state, you just take your knife and you can run around all these little extra spots. You can also just break them off too. Sometimes they'll just break off nicely. So I'm not going to trim this one up neatly right now because I want to show you what to do next. So you take your shoe half and some more of your melted chocolate and just cover it up like this. And any gaps that you have, you can fill them in with chocolate after the fact. Anything that you need, any like little holes or anything, you can fill that in. Then once you've got the shoe together like that, make sure it's lined up and then just let it solidify. So we've got the chocolate shoe mold all ready here. Now I'm going to put on my piping gel, which I just put in a secondary container. And I'm just going to cover the entire shoe, and I'll work like on one side and then I'll switch to the other side afterwards. And this is going to be the adhesive for the sanding sugar to stick to. Now because we can actually make the glass slipper look like glass, the point is getting it as shiny and as glittery as you can. So I'm putting on all of this stuff here, which is going to help the sanding sugar stick. And then with the sanding sugar, I'm just going to shake it onto most of it will fall onto the plate, the excess stuff, and I'll move on to the other side. So I've covered the shoe in the sanding sugar. Now I just want to kind of like sparkle the top here where the foot would be. And I'm just taking my luster dust and I put my brush into the luster dust and I just brush it on this area just to add a little bit of shine. These are all little steps that you definitely don't have to do if you don't have the product, but it just adds a little bit more of a kind of touch of fanciness to it. Next, we're going to be using this sparkle gel. Now I recognize that it is kind of hard to see the luster dust that we put on and then this sparkle gel, just because the chocolate is white on the shoe. But just if you can see it up close when you make it yourself, you'll definitely be able to see the little bit of the shine. So I'm just lining the shoe here, and just to give it a little bit more dimension to make it look a little bit more realistic. So I've got my gum paste here and it's nice and soft, and I have a Quilting silicone mold, and I'm just going to use the butterfly, this large butterfly here. I'm just pressing the gum paste into it, just like this. And then once I've got it in there, I just peel it out, and you'll see over here that I've done a couple already, just to make sure that they're all ready to go. And I'm just letting them form with the curve for the butterfly wings. So you just press it in and then peel it up. And this is going to go onto the shoe, the front of the shoe. But I'm going to put the shoe onto the cake, the butterfly onto the shoe, and I'll show you the completed cake up next. So I put the shoe on top of the cake here, and I have the butterfly just above on the toe. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all again next time.